We are back and heading into Game 3 of Phoenix 1 versus Team Envy. Kobe, it's time to reset ourselves. We've got one more game to play between these two, and
tiebreaker.
It has been a bizarre journey to get here, I'll be perfectly honest, but two pretty interesting games. Game 1 maybe a little more normal. Game 2 for Envy was a struggle, but they got there in the end. And for me, I just want to see what happens in this last game. Is it going to be as long, as epic as the last one? Is it going to be a bit smoother like the first one? Is the team going to come out swinging and really just sweep through the other? Or are we in for yet another barn burner? Kobe?
Are we going to have a Corky mid?
Probably, if it gets through.
So far.
Certainly has. 100% win rate in the series. Corky mid looking pretty strong. It's nice to see that champion rotate back into the meta. I don't know. I mean, our red side bans are kind of locked, so it's going to be up to P1 on the blue side for this final draft to see if Corky does get through.
Yeah, I mean, the other surprising thing is also that Elise, keeps getting through as well, and that has also been one of the premier bans and pretty much permanent from red side. But we have seen a lot of team-specific variations, especially in this matchup here for these guys. Everybody kind of resetting after that last long one, a little bit hectic, and I need to come in here with a clear game plan. And that does start with the draft phase and with the coaching staff.
Yeah, it's important for everyone to make sure that in the right space. Almost a 50-minute on, you can see Arrow reclining in his chair. I mean, he certainly has had some good performances. Not maybe the same level that we saw from him in spring, but certainly a player that's kind of getting some of that groove back. Being set up much better, I will admit, in general by the team. But you can kind of see when he's enabled, there's a reason he was MVP of spring. He's an incredibly good bot laner.
Yeah, Phoenix 1 really close to actually even pulling that last one back for themselves, but just barely not able to take it down. Meanwhile, on the other side, Envy, I think they are the ones with the most pressure here coming into game number 3, because even though they did even it up and get that victory, kind of strike back, there was definitely a long period of worry for them in the mid-game where we saw those same kind of tendencies start to emerge that we saw previously from the team with their mid-game shot calling as well as the team fighting. And definitely their long-term goal is even to clean that up, not even just short-term here for this particular matchup. And
unfortunately, it's very short-term as far as the turnaround goes. Barely any time to fix and adapt between games, but it will start here in Champ Select. Phoenix 1, Chantalia, their first 2 bans, so mirroring a lot of what they had on the blue side in game number 1. Zach and Caitlyn on the other side. Looks like Galio is likely going to join him, as Phoenix 1 are the ones to mix it up and ban away Corky.
All right. Nobody's going to win this game then.
It's a tie! As that's Galio banned by Envy. First pick Elise.
Elise is up then, that means again. All right, well, let's see what Mike Young can do with it this time around. I'm sure he's confident with that pick. Very big important though. We keep talking about Seraph and having, a winning lane matchup and how that really does change the whole face of Team Envy's game. Renekton, he's got a winning lane matchup versus pretty much everybody.
Certainly does, and despite having a good performance on the Jarvan, this is definitely a pick that Seraph can really excel on. It's a type of champion he really likes to play, and they'll actually steal away the Varus as well. Apollo going to move away from the Xayah here.
Interesting, because he was definitely one of the ones that, especially early on, was playing a ton of Varus, so kind of slotting back into that one. There's that Jace that we kept on seeing get banned out after, kind of in second round bans, and will, go toe-to-toe with Renekton. You use that range advantage, especially with Elise. I think that really helps this matchup because you always talk about the range advantage in top lane, and so many of the matchups kind of go that way with Kennen and with Jace. Trying to bully that way and harass and use the side brush to drop minion aggro, but when you have a threatening jungler, an early game jungler like Elise, it just helps so much with those types of matchups because the Renekton has to respect even more. And then also, you can punish further if Jace does get off harassment in lane with a dive possibility. So I like that combo, definitely a lot for Phoenix 1.
Yep, and Brom is kind of the expected pick there for Special, but another Morgana here for Hakuo. Lined up relatively well, I suppose, and his bindings were great, so kind of fun to see that one here. Kalista, though, was the next ban for Envy, starting to target out some of Arrow's champions. Twitch actually made an appearance in the ban list for Envy in the last game, so we'll see if they want to continue targeting there. There's a pretty straightforward LeBlanc, though, to start things off for Phoenix, so I'm going to ban away at least one mid laner.
Yeah, Syndra's still on the board as well. There are a couple of power picks here for mid lane still floating around, with Corki kind of taking one of those spots early on.
Well, there is the Twitch ban we saw in the last game, Envy going to repeat that one, and there's Nidalee actually, so taking that away from Lyra does leave Lee Sin open though, as kind of the obvious choice.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a couple junglers, you know, Gragas as far as early game playmaking too, that are still available. I have to wonder though, because the Syndra right now is looking pretty good to me. I mean, it's pretty good into Orianna also, even though that has been the common pick, and you kind of keep that kill pressure. Orianna can farm it out just fine, but you do have to have that little bit of extra respect.
Yeah, well, there's the lead for Envy, so going to counterpick mid lane instead of taking the Syndra and maybe trying to block some of Ryu's picks away. Ryu does have a very wide champion pool, so he's probably pretty confident giving the Syndra away. But Jhin will not be the pickup yet. Actually, there's the Orianna for Ryu, so continuing to open the door up for that Syndra pick for Pyrion. I'm trying to remember if he's played at this split. That might be one of the potential concerns that he's not as confident in the matchup, but we'll find out in just a second here as Phoenix1 looking to finish off their draft. Another double marksman comp being lined up here with the Jace in the top side for Zig, and there is the Jhin for Arrow. Certainly a champion he excels on. He's so good on these skill shot style champions.
Yeah, so we have one game of Syndra from Pyrion. I mean, we even saw 2 games of Syndra from Niski, right, in his very short time with the team. So it seems like that was one of the bigger differentiating factors as far as champion pool. And he's not going to go back to it here. So Karma in the mid lane, going to have some of that more supporty role. We have seen a decent amount of them going Ardent Sensor, even though a bit later. And with the Black Shield, that is quite a lot of, you know, extra enhancements they can give to Apollo to try and put him into a position to carry.
And trying to quickly remember was double checking. Athene's did get changed on this patch, so we could be in for a fun one here. Mid Karma's certainly a nice one, but Apollo's got a lot on his shoulders all of a sudden to really overperform on this Varus. Yes, Karma will do more damage than the average support Karma, but definitely a different style of pick. And I think that's one of the cool things I like about Envy as a team is with Niski now in the lineup and with Pyrion, they can kind of, you know, use their mid laners for different things. Pyrion does strike me as more of a utility style player, and a pick like Karma obviously directly reinforces that.
Yeah, I am a little bit worried for their later game damage if they can't get this early game off the ground and kind of work off these base damages, because the damage from the rest of the squad here with Renekton, Lee Sin, Karma, and Morgana is definitely not going to be at that same carry level as the squad that Phoenix1 are wielding.
Certainly fun to see. Maybe we found the answer. Double marksman Orianna coming back in. We'll have to find out. But Game 3 is about to get underway. There can only be one victor in the series, Kobe. You said with no Corki, no one's going to win, but I think somebody has to. I don't think it's possible to have a tie. We may find out. We'll have to see. I know you're excited for the potential of a tie.
Baron will call the tie. He will be the tiebreaker. Since you guys have been playing around too much, you both lose.
Well, another fan out here for both sides. Mike Young moving through the jungle. Again, have had very little action at level 1, despite, you know, the kind of Brawl Morgana early supports. Pretty good in any sort of invade, but junglers sticking to pretty standard practice routes, and even though they are efficient.
Oh, ask and you shall receive, Phase Tree. Pretty big chunk. He'll go back and heal. So I guess the only real big difference is the tiny bit of extra gold that Haku is able to get, plus the all-important ward dropped over the back of that red buff for Team Envy. They will have some vision as far as the start that Mike Young decides to take.
Yeah, and I think smartly adapting here again. They did a good job finding out what Mike Young did in the first game here, but back on this red side with his duo lane near him, I think expecting some sort of big leash once more, so just wanted to make sure that if that is what's happening, they absolutely know that that's the case.
Yeah, and Seraph will have an extra, you know, 20 seconds to react, because looks like that should be the call. I think the bottom lane as well, since the bottom lane knows that Phoenix1 are going to come later. Oh, it's not going to be the super hard leash. It's just going to be a the kind of solo queue red buff leash. Coming in for a little bit of harassment. Phoenix One do see them on the tri-bush ward, though.
Yep, not going to get to the wave early. Instead, just trying to chunk them out. Do some damage there. But Zig is actually going to find Seraph here, and level 1 Jace is pretty strong.
Yeah, and Jace gets the lifesteal off the minions, but Lyra, yeah, he just got around there. This is a red buff Lee Sin, so good luck, buddy.
Level 2 gank. Zig does have the flash, but he's getting slowed by the red buff. Needs to flash sooner rather than later. Lyra trying to land at the Q, but can't get it with the wave there.
So was Lyra respecting Zig's ability to flash a point blank Q? Because generally, you'll want to put, once you're right next to him, you want to put the point blank Q on. All right, he's got another chance here with Mike Young, though.
Yeah, actually, Lyra getting in and actually already got the jump. He's getting the XQ damage. Smites onto the buff. They both get extra health, and Lyra is not going to get it.
You both lose.
Gives first blood to Mike Young. Everybody dead.
That's a preview of the tie. Blue buff decides you both lose. Clobbers them.
When we have to let the neutral monsters decide the fate of the game. This was so close.
This was Lyra taking out his aggression, it felt like, after not getting the Q onto Renekton in the top side. They changed it, so before it was only the first smite would heal you, but ever since they changed the jungle this season, very long time ago, anybody who smites is going to still get health back, so after he sees Mike Young do it, he's like, oh yeah, me too. Give me some of that. Well, then they both get paid back with blue buff killing them.
Well, a bit of extra gold over to Mike Young. So
oh, he's going for round 2. He's going to blast cut in for it.
Just going to go for it. No, he can't get it in time, but he tags it. Just going straight in, gets cocooned in by Mike Young. Dashes back to Seraph. Lyra is so grumpy this game.
Grumpy old man Lyra. He's stolen the blue buff, though, so now Lyra is definitely behind. Arrow and Special getting control of the bottom lane a little bit here, too.
Yeah, back down here in the bot lane after almost 4 minutes of play. There's been so much going on in the top half of the map, but again, Jin certainly a well-practiced champion for Arrow, and I felt like he was that player that always played the Varus, Ashe, Jin trifecta so well, so he's been practicing the matchups, and kind of nice to see Jin creeping back into the meta with that Braum able to be pretty dominant, but see if Envy can maybe turn it back around. And Mike Young, in the meantime, with his bot lane getting that early shovel and actually going to roam up towards this blue buff, get some vision down, and he said Lyra was behind before, now he's really far behind.
Well, this is why I said he was behind before, because the price you pay of going for the double invade on the enemy blue buff is that you completely are going to give up your bottom side due to this Jin Braum pushing up. As you said, they're able to lend some credence to that invade, and so Lyra is only left with one option. If you camp hard on the top side in the opening and you don't get the steal, you're behind in experience, and you're going to have to stay up there. And so that's what he's doing, going in to take the Gromp away from Mike Young and at least get some experience back for himself. It's not too bad as far as losing all your buffs, but the mini camps, those are the first takes of the mini camps, so there's a little bit less experience in that Gromp than normal, and he's still going to have to be playing catch up.
Yep, does take the Wolves away as well, so Jungler's kind of splitting sides of the map. Mike Young, though, going to get the bad news. Brushes by the Wolf camp and sees it's gone. We're checking quickly with the mid lane. Pyrian actually looking good. Karma is very strong in the early levels, both in bot lane and in mid. And Lyra's up to his old tricks again. On a control ward, popping over with the blast plant.
I would expect him to wait around here, too, because it's in a pretty good space. But Zig's got to know what Seraph doing.
Oh, he flashed in, but there's the dice back through. Thundering Blow's going to try and CC it as Lyra does get the tag, but a good stun land in onto Seraph. Mike Young going to try and chase it down. Lyra trying to protect his top lane, but flashes out of the way. There's nothing else he can do.
Oh, look at that. They're best of buddies now. Mike Young and Zig, they had that little video at the beginning of them having some solo queue frustrations with each other, but roommates now, and find themselves some kills as well, shoving in the minion wave to the turret, denying so much from Seraph. This is post-teleport usage from the top laner, so it's actually a very big turnaround there.
And again, I think Lyra, from those 2 failed invades, like you said, doesn't have many choices, so he's going to get very predictable. And another attempt in the top side failing with Mike Young being in the obvious place just means that Lyra continues to fall behind this game. Now a level behind, as you can see there on the total experience. And Mike Young's going to be quickly up to Runic Echoes and only getting stronger.
What a good feeling for Elise. A lot of people actually, after that sort of opening, might even go with the mobility boots on Elise to really just cement your hold on this game, since the Lee Sin, as you mentioned, is a bit starved for gold and experience at the moment. You can, as long as you have the speed to get there, turn most of the lanes in your favor.
Well, Seraph again trying to get aggressive, but nothing else really happening. And just for a bit of context on how far ahead Mike Young is, not just on XP, he's 600 gold ahead, which is a decent amount in the early game. Oh, never mind. Oh, no, yes, I can see. Thank goodness. Looked at mid lane briefly and got confused, but was right the first time.
Again, it's a scenario, though, of pretty much the whole gold lead is on the jungler,
Yes.
is on the Elise, and it is definitely worthwhile to have that. But if Team Envy are able to create stuff away from him, or if he's not involved, then it doesn't really matter too much. Let's talk about mid lane, though. Pyrian, see if he gets out of this.
Oh, Shockwave back in now. Mike Young going to try and finish it off. Ryu chasing through. Good flash from Pyrian. Get out from under that max range cocoon. And this is the good news for Envy. Pyrian up in CS, bot side up in CS as well. It's not huge leads as far as the CS numbers go, but even in the top lane where attention was brought, Seraph up in CS as well and continuing to trade into Zig. So despite the jungle being behind, the rest of Envy are doing just fine.
Yep, and they're also going to be able to pick up an early Ocean Drake. Going to do wonders for those laners. Even if Lyra doesn't get over there, the extra sustain will do a lot. Oh, they contest it, and he's alone in the pit.
Smite there for Lyra, should be able to get it, but Pyrian getting cut off as the Drake goes over to MB. Mike Young still trying to chase him down, but Ryu, no ultimate from the last attempt in mid lane as Arrow shooting down Apollo. Does get the stun in, Special immediately falls to the Winter's butt. Apollo now forced splash, but Special follow flashes. Apollo, good heal for a bit of extra move speed, and the root lands back in onto Braum.
So Mike Young did not want to go for a steal attempt. I guess his smite might have been down. I have to look at the replay, but he went for the kill on the people rotating from mid lane rather than trying to corner the Dragon Pit, because it was just Lyra in there. And Arrow and Special had already moved up, and they were trying to fight him out of the pit, but Team Envy secure that Drake, even though it was a bit touch and go there for a second. Definitely going to be happy to have that regeneration here for the lane phase.
Yep.
Take a look, yeah. So Mike Young, Smite is available, and he just goes for these kills instead, whereas the bottom lane, exhausted, and we're focusing Lyra there for the steal. In the end, Envy's super happy about this one. Grab the Drake, everybody gets out. Top lane, not so much, though.
Yeah, Zig's starting to work on this turret.
Ooh, they want to kill him as soon as he teleports back in. Elise is here for the dive, prepping. I wonder if they'll actually go for it. He comes back with a black shield.
Cute.
And they saw actually Elise leave, so he's going to go aggressive now. They saw him walk out on the controller.
Yeah, Seraph actually, again, with a fresh buy, able to get aggressive back in onto Zig, who's got to go back and spend 1,300 gold.
That would definitely dissuade you from going for the turret dive as well. Pretty big chunk of money.
Well, again, Envy just happy to kind of let the lanes ride out. It's looking good so far. Pyrian is working on his first item, and it will be a fun one. As there's the root lands in onto LeBron, but Zig TPing back in himself. Does have that phase now, ready to get aggressive, but Seraph's like, I don't care. I'm just going to keep playing forward. Despite being a level behind, Seraph is playing with quite a bit of panache, and might be too much there. Does get low, but the Q's going to heal him back up a decent amount.
Yeah, always holding on to the ultimate too to try and maybe bait in a little over-aggression. It's a possibility. Gotta worry about vision and, Lee Sin ganking from so many different angles, so should go a little ways as far as tempering that aggression.
Back in the bottom side though, Arrow actually with some early swiftness boots, which is kind of cool to see. It looks like BF Sword first is likely going to be Infinity Edge as that first item. And Apollo with that Blade of the Ruin King going to be his first. So standard stuff there on the bot side, but we do check in with mid. Pyrian just went back to spend a big chunk of gold, and Athene's Unholy Grail. This was the standard before really for Karma, but has been changed a bit on this patch.
Yeah, it does have that scaling with mana regeneration now. So the support players were pretty happy about that, since pretty much all their items came with it, and you got like a little bit too much at some points. Meanwhile, though, that was a flashing into a blind bush there, since there was definitely a control ward for Team Envy. And guessing a bit wrong there.
Okay, maybe getting a little too aggressive as Lyra. Oh, could be caught here. Pyrion with the shield. Taco roaming up as well. Like she's going to help out, but a little flash behind his carrier. And now Pyrion's caught. That's going to be a kill for Ryu.
Over aggressive from Lyra there. Cost him a summoner, his mid lane's life, and Phoenix1 now trying to stack up some gold. Let's see if MikeYoung can actually get a sizable amount of damage onto this turret. Elise is really good for it. If you go into Spider form and pop your W, the attack speed and the attack reset do wonders here for early game tower damage.
Special up here as well, just to defend more than anything else. And turret does take a good chunk of damage, sitting at about 50% health as Pyrion with a teleport. Let him move back into the lane, but people are already roaming to start this after Lyra got caught.
Yeah, nice shots here from Arrow. Lands a couple, forces the flash, also separates them so that Phoenix1's 3 members can collapse all onto Pyrion and earn that kill.
And the price that's paid is the mid laner's life, so Pyrion returns back to the lane, still with the CS lead, but a little less excited after being taken down. Phoenix1 3 kills to 1. Zero looking for a kick back here. Flash back towards the turret for Ziggy. Knocks Seraph back. Q's gonna miss, but there's the kick. Damage gonna come out from Seraph, and that should be enough, but the turret damage onto Seraph in the right place as he gets the kill.
Yep, and they should be able to push it in too. No teleport is available. Meanwhile, bottom lane just barely getting out of range of that binding.
No, Apollo actually taking damage as Hakuo was warding. Apollo going to be forced back to that turret as MikeYoung checks in with the top lane. A little late to stop Lyra's tower dive though. Just going to try and keep the wave in a decent spot. Get what farm they can. Hakuo actually tanking the wave right now. Ocean Drake going to help out here for Envy. As looks like they'll just force P1 off in this 2v2, and with Infernal Drake number 2 coming up in, number 1, sorry, coming up in 30 seconds. See who's going to get these games second Drake.
Yeah, I think Phoenix1 are actually pretty happy with the state of this game. 20 seconds left before this Infernal Drake comes up though, and they have really been common in this series, shaking things up quite a lot. Envy do have better vision coverage and positioning at the moment. But we'll see if Ryu, with this blue buff, is going to be able to push up mid lane and maybe get some mid priority for this Infernal Drake. Would definitely help out quite a bit as far as the setup.
And I think something we highlighted already, but it's important to note again, is that Envy are somewhat on a timer here in this game. I mean, P1 did have a good spot in top lane, try and go forward, but a great little stun chain almost completes onto Lyra, who smites the crab for a bit of extra health. MikeYoung does get rooted by Apollo's chain of corruption, but not enough follow-up there onto the Elise. And the jungler Chunk, this Infernal Drake's going to be harder for Envy to contest. Ocean Drake going to have to work overtime to get Lyra back to good health.
Yeah, also you can heal off the Scuttle Crab. There's some fruit, and he also went to go heal off the Gromp. So Lyra's back in action, but Phoenix1 are ready to play. Yeah,
it looks like they already started the Baron Pyrion trying to poke him off on the side. But Ryu's going to zone him out with the Shockwave. Top lane's FTPs, but they haven't started them just yet.
Yeah, both of them have ways of interrupting the others too, so you don't want to pull yours first if you're too close.
So Envy just trying to clear out the vision. P1 blind again, except for a ward on the back of the pit. And Apollo's getting the wave pushed back down to the bottom side of the map. So P1 will have to answer soonish. Seraph low here on the top side though could mean that P1 feel confident bringing their 5th man to the fight.
Alrighty. Keep your eyes on this Braum ultimate. Is he able to get that split through the team fight? They're going to try and work with these jungle corridors.
Good flash from Pyrion. Ryu with a nice shockwave to try and set that up, but Ryu just going to keep chunking. Lyra tags the blue buff, but P1 actually rotating. They don't want the Drake. They're going to take the mid outer turret instead. First turret gold over, and it's not a precious one there as Zig is destroying Seraph currently.
Ooh. He's almost done with his Black Cleaver too. So much tower pressure here. As you said, abusing that range matchup. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane.
Good onto Apollo, forces the flash, but Lyra looks for the kickback, gets MikeYoung, but the exhaustion rigs petrol. Very nice. Lyra now going to get shot. There's the first one in. So Glacial Pitcher already tagged Apollo. Last bullet. Almost enough to take it down as MikeYoung grabs the execute.
Well played down there in the bottom lane from Phoenix1. Meanwhile, top side, oh no!
Seraph going to go for all in. Had the Dominus ready to try and challenge Zig, but Jay's just going to get out of there. Zig will probably go back home. Seraph going to take this one extra wave while his ulti's still up.
Zig, maybe he's going to teleport back here even. Actually counters.
Seraph actually pretty strong, but just going to roam all the way through the jungle.
Yeah, a little risky to go for a dive without your ultimate. Zig is pretty good knockback. Take another look at how this happened. Apollo just too far from home. He didn't flash the binding, then flashed out and walked back in. Arrow's able to land every single shot.
And it does feel like Lyra, again, we talked about him taking out his frustration with that double blue buff invade.
Yeah.
That was another play, just kind of looks like an overreach.
I mean, he definitely has taken risks before, and you know, we compliment him when he takes the risks and they do pay off. This is an investment. If you're going for a buff into gank, into invade, it's a huge investment of time, and that's the cost you have to pay is, you know, territory in the jungle. Here we go, though.
Oh, almost looks like a genius again. Apollo with the ultimate ready, but Lyra couldn't quite kick him out in time. Seraph though already TP'd down to the fight, but he is very low.
Yeah, Lyra definitely having an off game this one. He's been kind of in overdrive, maybe trying to do a little bit too much there from the beginning, and it does seem to be affecting his play further on into the game.
We do get a turret trade at least. Grabbing the bot out of turret as Zig claims the top side for himself. Mike Young again in onto Fury, and Fury trying to juke out of the way, but he gets shockwaved. Mike Young with a nice cocoon to set it up, and he's rewarded with a kill. His 4th of the game, actually.
Yeah, I love it when people just hold on to their crowd control abilities. All right, never mind. Infernal is done.
Over to Envy, but Zig still crushing down that top lane turret. Black Cleaver now finished, so plenty of damage ready to go. Seraph weaves through the minion wave to try and chunk them down, but Zig is unrelenting in his top lane pressure.
It's one of the champions that Zig has put a lot of time into. He constantly talked about Jace, you know, for the past year basically, of how much time he was putting into the champion for solo queue and grinding up there. And even though Jace has kind of fallen a bit out of favor, you can still see the familiarity with him, where he's weaving damage in within turret range and walking out after the turret acquiring the target before it fires the shot. You know, trying to really maximize the advantage of having that extra range to get off your tiny bits of damage. Part of the reason that he did kind of fall out of style are the items like Doran's Shield, where you know, those little bits of damage are negated a bit more and more. But if you get enough of them, slowly build your way up, then turns into a health advantage, and eventually you can turn it into something real.
Yep, nice little tour there from Zig, going through the enemy jungle and eventually to the Rift Herald that P1 now have in their possession. Pretty late one as well. So we'll see exactly where they want to use that in the next 3 to 4 minutes. We're going to take down at least one turret. Blue buff going to go over to Ryu as well, who's going to join in time to make sure he gets that. And looks like P1 might be pressuring back towards this top side of the map, but Envy with Tyrion in the bottom lane. Remember, he does have teleport. It's actually the only TP up for Envy right now, so he's the current weak side player. Gonna move in for the fight if necessary.
Yeah, and they are trying to leave behind Vision a little bit here in the jungle, but again, it mostly is about, you know, the side lane pushing them trading. That should put, you know, Zig down. Yeah, he's already down bottom. He's going to try and push it up again and then start to work on the bottom outer turret, this last one left standing for Team Envy. See if they can increase this gold lead, because that's the advantage that Phoenix 1 are holding, whereas Envy definitely happy to sit on the dragon advantage this time around. I have to say, though, scaling, especially as far as your damage output, is going to have to be on your mind if you're Team Envy with this composition. Infernal Drake doesn't do as much for them who are building a pretty significant amount of health and other stats there on a lot of the champions.
I mean, they're kind of at the strong point right now where Seraph, you know, relatively tanky. Furion's got his 2 items that he really needs to start something here in the mid game. And sure, Apollo needs maybe one more, but Envy shouldn't be too far away from doing something, and P1 are the ones with all the pressure.
Yeah, that being said, the Ardent Sensor is completed now for Karma. This is what we were waiting for, what we were looking for. Be able to buff up everybody, and everyone gets that buff when you do your AoE shield. So Team Envy right now on the The mid laner, at least, is going to try and use that spike. Here comes the Rift Herald. Should at least get the charge off. Big chunk.
Looking for the tier 2. Mining waves there as well. Huge chunk of damage. Hit the eye. It's going to be about it. And we will tie up the Herald for the rest of it. As Zig backing onto Seraph. Mike Young here. Great Cocoon actually catches him through the dash. And another kill for Mike Young. 100% kill participation still.
Yeah, everybody a little bit surprised by the burst damage from the Elise, but he's got all the flat magic penetration in and 0 magic resistance on the Renekton, so easily able to secure that with the execute percentage damage. And that should be that last outer turret we were talking about. Should be easy for Jace to clean it up.
Yep, Zig gonna take that one here, and 3 turrets to 1 now for Envy, maybe even 4 as P1 continue to pile pressure into the mid lane. They're going to keep things going, push that next wave through. Pyrian is trying to answer on the top side of the map, but time is going to take a little while, and with not enough vision and P1 back to this side, has to back off.
Yeah, definitely a bit risky there for Team Envy at the moment. This is really the teetering point, because there is a pretty decent amount of gold that Phoenix One can turn into some combat effectiveness for the next team fight. And Envy are looking to play a little bit more defensive, or should be getting those defensive wards into their own jungle, so that they can actually play more off of their secondary turrets rather than extending up here into Phoenix One. You got to worry about the long range of Jhin. Braum is really good at getting picks with Elise, so it's a little bit too many angles for them to get that far out on the map.
Yep, and it's actually a great point to kind of look at where Phoenix One are. 4,000 gold off, and this lead is sort of coalesced into item spikes finally for them. 2 items done there for Arrow, who's got the RFC done. 2 items done for Ryu, who had 2k to spend before this. Leandry is now fully done for Mike Young, and the Blade of the Ruin King just got patched up for Zig. So as far as strength goes, this is a real good point for P1 and Envy. This is a comp that really didn't want to fall behind, and they've fallen behind. Now they're back to their favorite place on the map. Oh my god, that was good! Mike Young is so fancy. Doesn't repel far enough though.
Yeah,
so
all that fanciness, they do trade flashes, but no kill does go over.
still, a lot of mid laners will be envious of the point that Mike Young is at as far as items go, and he's really strong. There's a reason that burst was so surprising on Seraph earlier.
And by the way, for the record, like the Cocoon flashes doesn't change the point that the Cocoon is shot from, like a lot of the other abilities. It's just he wanted to get over the wall, and the Cocoon from the original point was going to hit anyways. That's why it was worthy of a couple of
But it looked so back Young. Again, still trying to pad those stats. Infernal Drake over to P1. Gonna make all of their carries do so much more damage. Seraph finally gonna claim a turret though. Gonna get the gold a little bit further back into the right direction for Envy, but again, just don't really want to be playing this patient of a game. It just feels like P1 are happy to scale up and get further ahead, and Envy are just kind of stuck sitting on their hands. A little unsure what to do as Pyrian just gets demolished.
Yeah, confident on that character as discussed. Oh, Arrow finds a little bit of a pick. Snares him and gets another shot. He could follow up with the W cooldown.
Nice and speedy. Seraph's gonna pop the ultimate actually. Speed up there from the fourth shot. Arrow still in pursuit. Mike Young here for his assist. Seraph gonna flash.
Ooh, Arrow gets the flash out all by himself. That's why people are real. Oh, does that land? It does land.
Actually hit onto Mike Young. Goodbye. Shut down for Apollo. Good amount of gold over to the Varus. But Zig is working the inhibitor turret in the bottom lane. Seraph gonna run back and contest.
Working overtime, gets it past 50% health on that turret, even though the pick goes over to Team Envy. So much map pressure here from Phoenix One. I was about to say that's why so many people are really happy with Jhin in the current state. The amount of speed that you get when you have Warlord's speed burst plus Jin's in here. Oh,
that's going to be a stun. No, the Black Shield could save him. Arrow with the ultimate's going to try and stretch it out, but Lyra runs out of the cone of fire. A couple of blind bullets there. Lyra though gets out safely and back to jungling.
All right, let's get back to battle plans here for Phoenix 1. They want to keep Zig split pushing on the side. They do need to get him a little bit of coverage though. Jace doesn't have the best ways of escaping, so you need to get a little bit of extra vision for him. There's a lot of mobility on Lee Sin and Renekton, and don't want him to get picked off there. So a little bit of vision could go a very long way because Zig doesn't really have an equal as far as the 1 versus 1 right now. Seraph has just completed his Blade of the Ruined King though, so that's definitely going to help.
Just Warden's Mail though is extra as he continues to build only damage with the Warhammer and that pickaxe now done. Arrow also moving to item number 3. Actually has an extra BF sword that can only be Essence Reaver or I guess Duskblade or Bloodthirsty if I'm recalling correctly. So kind of interesting to see Arrow, at least not yet, up for maybe a second Zeal.
Hate to see MTS, baby.
Yep.
Hurts my soul.
Especially when you have this much AD.
The other half of the plan, by the way, we only went over half of it.
Yep.
First half, Zig split pushing.
Good.
That way you spread Envy out. The second half is your Jhin and your Elise with their long-range picks, trying to find people to snare up, and they found one.
Hey, Lyra all gets himself out. Black Shield again from Hakuo, ensuring his escape. Ultimate been buying special, doesn't find a target, but P1 sticking to the plan, and it's working well so far. Zig currently grouped with the team, going to chunk down Hakuo with a big accelerated shock blast. In fact, P1 is happy letting Arrow's side lane for a little while longer for some extra experience and CS.
It's deceptively kitey there with the Jhin with all the extra speed coming from all those different sources here with the new mastery and build combination, or semi-old, whichever way you want to look at it. Good chunk there from Ryu onto Apollo.
He's just going for it. He's got Shockwave as well, so Apollo cannot play too recklessly.
And we keep talking about the picks that can come through here from the long range of Jhin, from the Elise. When you get chunked out in the mid lane like that, it's actually very dangerous when Apollo gets hit like that, because his flash is super valuable. And if you have to blow that just from getting chunked there and the threat of a Jhin ultimate or something, that really takes an impact on a team fight if Phoenix 1 are able to force it around a neutral objective here in the next couple of minutes.
Yep, well, next minute 40 perhaps, as that's when the next Mountain Drake is spawning. 2 Drakes to 1 still for Envy, holding an Ocean over P1 after matching Infernals, but maybe bigger things to look at here with the Baron buff available. Seraph and Lyra are going to team up and clear out whatever vision they can here, but not a whole lot currently for Phoenix 1 apart from that lone control ward, which has now gone down.
Yeah, they are happy farming up, scaling up. Everybody's getting a lot more DPS as far as Phoenix 1. The Guardian Angel
That's what
is
I forgot. I forgot it!
item of choice.
We changed it. I've been had.
Ah. Oh man, that is the team fight is going to be overwhelmingly. Actually, pretty big chunk started off. Might be soon.
Good Black Shield, but Turret going to fall in the mid lane here. P1 going to open up even more space for themselves. That.
No more minions. They ran out of
backdrop
minions.
bonus helped a lot. We saw the value of 1 caster creep at the end of last game. There's the value of no caster creep, or no creeps at all. As Envy still taking damage though. This is a pretty good siege comp for P1. Arrow there from, ultimate there from Apollo, excuse me. But the turret is going to fall.
Not only is it a really good siege comp, but Team Envy don't have any super reliable, they don't have any super reliable hard engage here. I mean, it relies on a flank from Lyra or Seraph, and them also using their flash to really get in position. Barring that, Envy are just kind of target practice for Phoenix 1 at this point, so they keep taking a beating. They keep having to give away more and more of the map. You kind of just need to pull the trigger there, go for one of those flanks, try and get that engage. And it's not going to be easy, and they are probably going to have to hit skill shots to make it happen as well. So, defensive flash being up to Phoenix 1 is pretty rough, but Envy are the ones who start up the Drake.
Yeah, confident enough that they've got the vision here, but P1 just going to force their way into the river.
Yeah, I'd say let it reset if I was Phoenix 1, but Zig is on the way, he's flanking up from the bottom. They could be going for it. That's a perfect place for a Braum ultimate. Watch out for the shockwave, because if Braum ultimate hunts goes, not even gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, T1 just kind of cut them off there, and Envy are left without a Drake. They've got a top wave to worry about, as that's massive pressuring onto that turret.
Yeah, they really do look lost here. They don't have those good hard engage tools. They don't have some super good scaling to rely upon. They don't have much except for kind of the gambit they did early on, and that didn't pay off.
It did not. And Purion is going to have decent wave clear here. He's got a Luden's Echo, but adding teamfight damage can be tricky, especially given how much of a problem Braum is for a champion like Karma.
Yep.
And now Zig, remember we talked about that kind of part A of that plan with the split push. Zig, eyes on that bottom inhibitor turret still, and a death dance is finished. So,
oh baby,
he is more than ready for a 1v1, maybe even a 1v2 at this point.
Yeah, Phoenix One, they have split push advantage. They have even 5v5 advantage at this point. It's not even that big of a gold lead, but because of the compositions, Team Envy with very few options here. Phoenix One diligently working through the vision, set up for the Baron bait.
Yep, and it is good to see Phoenix One taking their time, playing it methodically. Don't want to throw anything away as Ara gets yet another BF sword. He's just collecting them now. Wants as much AD as possible, I suppose, which I can get behind.
It's called attack damage carry, not attack speed. All
right, Cocoon misses. That's the first one in a while I think I've seen go wide. Mykyung's still a little brittle, but Zhonya's going to help with the survivability, and we've seen how much damage he's doing to even the tankier members of Envy. I mean, Seraph has 0 magic resist.
It's actually pretty surprising how much pseudo tank you get from Elise with repel duration and Zhonya's duration. Even like you said, if you're going this super offensive, and bursty build, you do have the ability still to buy time, which is basically what face taking does anyway. It's just using immunities and untarget abilities. Envy are actually committing to this, and Zig is pretty much at the turret, so their turret is bye-bye.
Yeah, where's Seraph? Because he's got to get back there very, very soon. Zig going to ward it up and wait for this wave, and this turret is going to go down. I don't think Seraph can be there in time. Not even close, actually. And it just does feel like the threads are all starting to unravel for Envy.
I mean, it's kind of the issues they went over already, but here we go.
I mean, this 1v1's not going to go Seraph's way. Still got his ultimate, but has to use it very soon, barely at the last second. But Zig flash accelerated stock plus that. All right, that was too much swag in the source.
That's all right. I like going for it. Good enough.
Took the inhib. Now he's just going to stand and fight Seraph with a stun, and there's enough damage.
That's all right. That's the price you pay. We're going for the YouTube highlights.
Well, Envy have 2 TPs, remember, and they're both in the top lane after killing Zig, so P1 gonna try and force one. Don't get either as they get onto the Baron buff. Hakuo chunked again, but Black Shield's gonna keep him unrooted from the Deadly Flourish.
It looks like they want to stick around the area too.
Polo is pretty far forward, so Special again trying to exploit that.
There is a teleport on Zig when he gets back up, so Envy have to be a little bit cautious about overstaying. I know they want to press this opening because they are behind and they're really feeling the pressure, but you always got to keep in mind that teleport coming off of cooldown, and there's 15 seconds left for Zig.
All right, well, there's no chill at this point. Envy onto Baron. Seraph kind of trying to zone, but just getting stopped by Arrow.
Fast.
No, it's not going down really at all. Arrow's 1v1ing the top laner. Envy have really split on this call.
This is not a high damage team comp, and they're just kind of sitting in there.
Seraph's gonna try and cancel, but can't even get on top of Arrow safely. Zig's TP'd in already. Top Blast trying to cut a few more off, and Envy. Ugh. It's just looking so disjointed. Everything's going wrong. The play's not going their way. Lyri's and Bates didn't go. The draft.
What about the Baron deal? Let's go.
All right, that may be it here for MVP1. Looking to force the issue.
3,000.
No, just chill. They got super minutes in the bottom side of the map, which is the best place for them when they're trying to take the Baron buff. So they see Seraph now. Does have the TP still, but he's going to take a while to try and clear those minions out of the way. Phoenix1, they decide to reset, not overstaying their welcome around the Baron pit. And back to neutral for a little while longer.
All right, let's see. Back out on the field, 45 seconds on Elder Dragon, so it might get a little more interesting with the, dueling neutral objectives, but as we've already seen on display, Team Envy just don't have the damage as a team right now to burn through one of those objectives. And even if Phoenix1 commit to one of them, I think Envy have a much better chance of trying to counter that one while it does damage to them than they do at trying to trade them.
Yeah, and you can see Zig forced to join with the team right now. So Envy with the TP advantage, able to keep their lanes pretty well pushed out, and Seraph's currently full-time dealing with the super minions, but P1 are being a little slow to really start something here, trying to get all the waves in the right spots. P1 definitely kind of playing like a team that doesn't want to let this game slip away.
Yeah.
Kind of forgive them because they are at the bottom of the standings trying to climb their way out, but doesn't seem like many openings here for Envy. But P1, if they let the game delay a little too long, the chance of those openings appearing for Envy will certainly increase.
All right, well, Seraph has already shoved at the bottom lane a decent amount, so Envy have actually bought themselves a small opening to contest this Elder Dragon without having to worry about those super minions for the meantime.
P1, they're going to look for an engage. Arrow gets tagged, but a bit of extra damage. Furion getting slowed, flashes out instantly. As the root lands in onto Ryu. Cocoon dodged there by Apollo, who did have to flash. And now Lyra also caught on the wrong side. P1 just happy to throw poke in and be patient.
Yeah, they were able to kill another super minion wave off, though, in the bottom side Seraph during all that chase. 2 flashes on there, 2 carries, though, so Team Envy, super risky. As we said, Apollo is the #1 target. If he's down, they have like 50% of the damage that they do when he's up, so that's pretty much just what Phoenix1 need to aim for.
Yeah, now P1 just going to force through mid lane here, try and take some more turrets. I imagine bot and hit respawning soonish, so probably look to retake that, and Zig might just chase one down. Not going to go in just yet, but through Lyra gets out with the black shield on him. Special getting shrunk, kick back in onto Mike Young. Does pop the Zonies, needs to try and live through this, does repel out of the way, back down onto him, but that's going to be a kill. Apollo takes him down as Ryu finds 2 with the shockwave, but P1,
they've got him on the run, and they're going to have to go for Baron now. Okay, 5v4 Baron, and no jungler for Phoenix1. Pretty good sustain, though. Even though Envy don't have the highest damage, they have very good sustain with shields coming through. And that's going to be a trade.
And that mistake's actually going to delay the game heavily for P1 here and keep Envy really strongly in it. Baron goes over, Inhibitor in the bottom lane's back up, and sure, P1 are going to get the Elder Dragon, but Mike Young's going to miss the buff, and not going to last that long. Tyrion going to make it in time to defend this tier 2 also.
Yeah, the lack of real front line there for Phoenix1 was abused as they got caught out and focused down pretty quickly.
Despite that scaling advantage being there for P1, I was alluding to the fact that they were playing a little too careful, and it is moments like that where, one thing starts to go wrong towards the later stages of the game, and it can start to cost you. I'm not saying, it's hard to say exactly how P1 could be pressuring more, but they're certainly not a team playing overly confident with their lead or with their composition. And Envy in their patience and consistent defense have actually maybe found a way back in, but Apollo a little too far forward, going to be escorted out though by his jungler and support, so and cost him his heal. It's the only summoner he had left there.
They have everything built to keep Apollo up, so if he goes down, then that's game. They have 2 lockets, 1 Knight's Vow, a Redemption, really, really beefy front line, and a Black Shield.
And a mid lane Karma.
And the mid lane Karma with Ardent Sensor. So all of these buffs are going on to him. The fully offensively built Varus, and he also has a Quicksilver Sash of his own. So as much as we say, that's the one goal, and take him down in next game, that it actually is a fairly difficult task taking him down, it looks like.
And Envy might have found a way back into this game. I thought, we're just going to kind of keep moving that advantage forward. I'm not saying it's easy, Kobe, but it is possible.
It's true.
Which was not true before that Baron.
Put your faith in the sun god.
Well, Apollo again starting to be like, okay, I actually do know about this QSS. I got all this protection. Gonna start to play up a little more. Sideways also not looking good for P1. Envy have also managed those well once more. Baron buff's gonna help out in that department for sure.
They didn't do their homework first. Side lanes pushing. You need to kill off all the best way to do it is kill off all the ranged minions.
Yep.
So then it slowly builds up because it's actually an even better strategy this season when the minions were changed. Melee minions do less damage, have even more health. Ranged minions do more damage, have even less health. But neither of them get pushing.
Good flash by Seraph, dodges everything else after the fact also. And Lyra actually takes the turret. Mid lane out of finally failed at 42-45. That's a long time to wait for that turret to go down. But if we've learned anything from Envy this series, they are willing to be patient if they have to.
Paid off in game number 2. Could very well pay off for the series. We are 43 minutes in and pretty much neck and neck. More vision advantage to Team Envy as well. So they probably have a decent chance of setting up.
And I think we have to talk about kind of the mental toll that will take on P1, given where they are in the standings. This is, it's been looking pretty strong in this series. Almost looked like a 2-0. Able to finally start that climb. This 1v1 though is going to put that thought on hold as Zig chasing down Seraph. Flash forward from Zig. Ulti pop by Seraph. Zig managed to get himself killed, but he does get the kill. And now Lyra trying to get something started, peering in to chase him down. Q did not tag Zig, but he's just getting run down here. Apollo in to try and take it as Pyrion grabs his first kill of the game.
Nobody else is really in a position to take an objective, though. They're trying to run up mid lane. It doesn't matter. I mean, you can get back into position. So all in all, it is a 1-for-1 trade. It's pretty sick, that he was able to get his solo kill. But if you don't have the 2 points of pressure at the same time, then you don't really gain anything out of it. And it is just a trade.
Good chunk-ish there for Ryu. They were actually quite tanky after that warrior. Looks like a GA is coming up next for his Lee, so going to be even more of a pest to try and kill in a team fight. And again, it's going to be another 6-item game. Kind of got there in game 2, and Envy were able to find their way in. Might be able to do it again here. Elder Dragon spawning in who knows when at this point. Long timer on that one after the first take. 10 full minutes.
All right, let's go over how you get 2 points of pressure then.
I'm ready.
Like, you gotta get 2 or else it means nothing. They need to time their pressure of the minions, right? You aren't just pushing out minions as soon as you see them. Zig was pushing them out 2 minion waves ahead of the rest of the team that was trying to go up middle. So he got up in enemy territory a full 30 seconds above the rest of the team who weren't able to capitalize in any sort of threat on the turret. That's why Team Envy were able to bring over basically their whole team to get the kill, and then still have that extra 30 seconds to get back in place before the minion wave mid arrives.
Yeah, you can see actually now kind of the correct thing being started by P1, a very big wave building up in that top lane actually.
Oh baby.
So that's kind of
slow push.
That's step 1 of the slow push. They're going to go back and probably buy his last item at this point.
All right, they need to work with the Oh, they got Apollo!
Oh no, there's too much protection. Apollo actually is firing back. Full health now with the redemption there. Seraph moved in and popped the ultimate, trying to take down Mark Young, who was looking for the flank.
His flash is down, the redemption is down, and the QSS is down, though. That is a decent amount of those defenses, and the slow push on top lane will take its toll. Phoenix One need to work with that pressure. They can't let that top wave die for no reason. They're trying to do it right now. Furion's going up to clear it.
He's going to clear it pretty fast as well.
Bye-bye.
One Karma Q placed well, pretty much just takes down all the wave, and all of a sudden, that slow push dissipates as Pyrion deals with that. And we're about to dance back around the Baron pit. 22 seconds, and he'll be back.
That's all right. Bottom's also pushing. Top is still going to be pushing in Phoenix One's favor. They have one extra minion up there. So they can utilize this for the Baron bait.
That's what we're going to try here. Zig
Or Baron burns.
They have a one. They do. They got a decent amount of damage. Zig not being there makes it a little harder, but they should have more than enough.
The burns.
Yeah, and it's dead, actually. Envy not going to get a look in. And there we go. Envy out of position, and P1 finally.
They have a teleport on Seraph. No ward. Oh.
It's a disaster. Envy instead is going to try and take the track down mid. But even that pressure looks like it's gone. Zig also escapes, so very clean take of the Baron there by P1, and we're almost all tied up here. I mean, Baron is going to give an advantage to P1 temporarily. But I mean, the gold is dead even. The items might as well be even how late we are into this game. And we're on track to go even later than game number 2. 49:30, I believe, was around the time that last game
Look at that
finished.
clock, baby. We got 2 minutes and 50 seconds of power play. What can they do with the power of purple? Actually, they're sending Arrow up to the top right now.
He is the split pusher, and Zig maybe caught. Flash kick from Lyra. Gonna get some damage back in, but Apollo needs to move in. Flash, and there's the ultimate from Hakuo. Finding that's point blank and Envy with a 5v4.
P1 are all spread out over the map. I don't even know where Ryu is going over in the jungle, but Envy jump on it. They get a kill on the isolated member. And Pastry.
Yes. The game will extend.
You said it was going to extend as soon as they got Baron. Did you know they were going to have a member picked up immediately? That was eerie, man.
I was just saying,
bought themselves some time.
Given the time of the game it was, even with the Baron, it seemed like the game was going to go later. But now it's definitely going to go later. Oh my goodness, poor Red Buff.
All right. Dust it off. He's going to get back up. 25 seconds left on Zig. He has a teleport. There's a ward deep in the mid lane, too.
It's all set up, and Arrow is doing a monumental amount of damage. That poor Red took an 1800 damage crit.
And it's not only the Baron buff, right? Phoenix One also want to take advantage of the flash being down on Apollo. That is very important cooldown. He is the crux of the team. He's doing so much of the damage.
A minute and a half left on it as well. So still plenty of time for P1, but Envy again, top lane pressure. Seraph even looking to take a turret against a Baroned up team. P1's late game management is going to be called into question here. I mean, we often criticize Envy for not being good in the mid to late game, but they've looked pretty good as far as wave management goes in these very late games, and they won game 2 at about this point.
Possible 5v4 pick? Okay, it goes wide.
I mean, maybe the supports might get to 6 items. Don't see that every day.
No, you do not. Feels good for them. The lockets are scaling with all that extra health.
I'm very sad that Seraph didn't build one, but he needs a Blooded Ruin King, so I understand.
All right.
Dragon's also up, so here's some action. They're just going to try and do this, I guess.
It should be Braum ultimate here into Shockwave. Zig wants to get some poke down first.
It'd be pretty tanky, though.
Are they going for a 50-50 first?
Looks like they might be trying to. Envy just going to try and take it. Oh, Dragon resets. Oh.
All right, keep your eye on the ball. Where is the Shockwave going to come from?
Mike Young also has not very much help. The Dragon is getting very tired of this.
Oh, Lyra flanked. He's behind him right now. He's looking for the kick onto Ryu.
Everyone's got flash here on P1, though. Lyra needs to make this crisp.
Oh.
Aaron finally goes in, kicks Ryu back in! Does get some of the lock, it's gonna proc. Shockwave only finds Lyra, but a huge amount of health. He's gonna keep him alive for a little while longer. Seraph taking up everything he can. But he actually goes down. Lyra respawn to the GA. Still 5v4 special left down, but Lyra pop down here. Arrow gonna unleash with the curtain call, but Hakuo, he's gonna tank what he can. Now they're trading. Shield there for period. He takes the last bullet.
Oh, Lyra's so low. Is he gonna go to steal?
He's gonna have to try and get a spike in, but the Dragon leashes again. Ocean Drake now ticking in. Actually gonna be relevant here.
Oh my goodness. All right, the Dragon has leashed about 10 times. They're going back for the heals. Ryu was too low after getting kicked in. And it is a 1-for-1 trade.
Top for support. 50 minutes in. You said it, Kobe, that the monsters were going to break the parity in this series. Elder Dragon has not decided on a victor just yet.
All right,
he's a merciful
They
god.
got the kickoff onto Ryu, but he flashed before Seraph's stun came in. So Apollo could not safely DPS Ryu and finish him off. That tiny fraction of a second between getting kicked and Seraph's stun going off saved Ryu's life. He was spamming flash and got out.
Lyra ward hops away, root lands from Arrow. No follow-up here. Lyra Chunk actually hitting the recall button with P1 on the Elder Dragon. Now going to cancel that, going to heal back up on the Gromp. Ocean Dragon again going to start to tick away.
5v5 late game, let's get it. Dragon's actually burned down. This is gone.
Dead again here, Envy. No vision, can't get into the pit. Lyra got Chunk there,
And
kind of
the
cost the
wave top
objective.
pastry.
They did it! They lined it all up, and they've got a huge wave bot as well. P1's homework finally done. It's very late. Professor's going to be awfully upset, but if it wins in the game, I'm not sure P1 going to get too much.
All right, here we go. Elder Dragon buffed up, coming in. That means the Shock Blast from Zig are going to add the true damage burn. Very difficult now for Team NB to hold off this inhibitor.
Well, that one was, I think, written off for the most part, so NB give that one up. P1, though, Lyra dealt with the top lane wave, and mid is pushing for NB, so that's all P1 are going to get with Baron spawning in 50 seconds.
We're going to have round 3 at Baron.
I think so. I'm trying to remember. No, look, I think P1 got both of them. I was going to say we're breaking another tie with Baron here, but I don't believe so. Hakuo, though, first to the area, has cleared down that control ward. Arrow somehow still doesn't. Okay, looks like he sold his boots.
Oh, yeah.
How does Arrow have an item slot?
I
Thought about selling his boots.
I think that Apollo just saw, did he have a Phantom Dancer before? Because now he has the rapid fire cannon for the extra range. I think
he did. I think that was a change he made. I believe you're right. First of all, it was 505 CS, which is quite a lot. We have 2 different people on one team with over 500 CS. That's pretty nutty.
All right.
Testament to how late this game has gone.
They can burn through Baron really fast, so Envy's actually going to be forced to engage.
They gotta go. Elder Dragon buff's still gonna be up. P1 playing it safe, pulling
Not
up,
starting
trying
it, though.
forcing a fight. Still got a decent amount of time with the Elder Dragon buff, about a quarter of its duration left.
They should be looking to land at least some Shock Blast here to get the burn going.
Instead, it's Envy actually poking in with the empowered Karma Qs, and P1 so scared in this late game. You can just tell they're a team that holding onto this game.
I mean, it's really close right now. This winner of this team fight wins the series, okay? So there is a reason.
I get it. Again, playing that mentality, bottom of the table, trying to climb the way out. Would have much preferred to sweep the series, but confidence going to be a little shook here.
You do have to, there's a lot they have to watch out for. You know, Lyra on Lee Sin has the capability to make that engage, has the capability to make that play. Plus, time is in their favor with that minion wave.
Patience here. And
Is the teleport going to come through?
Not yet. Lyra going to tag the buff.
Well, Baron's going to die then.
I mean, Lyra's got flash. No, can't get in. That died so fast.
See?
Well played by P1.
Patience is a virtue, Pastry. Pays off. Pays off in purple.
All right, well, what can they do now with the purple buff? No need to go shopping. Everyone's full. Oh, no. The Windians are back.
Honestly, I would have Zig go use his buff on the bottom wave. But Lyra's behind him. He's flanking around. He's looking for the big Lee Sin play. Is this going to be it? The last team fight.
He's trying to find him as well.
Oh, they know he's missing.
Get a sort of assist ping in mid lane from P1. See, they're aware of the potential flank here. Man, almost an hour into this game as well. How many games have gone an hour in LCS history?
A significant amount in the previous seasons where the average game time was actually quite a lot longer. Here he goes, though. He's got the Q.
Tagged Arrow, but Lyra can't commit to it. Has a different target in mind. Perhaps it's Pyrian. Now the target, ultimate out, actually tags Apollo with a Glacial Fissure. Flips it away after this, a shot down, Buck Young! Grabbing the big execute.
There you go. Apollo is dead, and Envy are on the run.
All right, 70 seconds with Apollo dead. That's a long time. That may be too long.
Baron buff on double super minion waves. Now Patience, all they have to do is wait inside the base, buffing up both of the minions. Slowly it will be able to take the turret. They don't have to risk anything here.
T1 have been very patient all series long. Climbing back into this game. Slowly taking it over. Lyra again looking for the big kick. Finds one, but Arrow takes down Lyra as a result. Shockwave there is going to miss, but Seraph can't really do anything else. Pyrian too low. As P1 looking for those last few turrets. Nexus turret number 2 is down. The Nexus is exposed. Arrow blows up Pyrian. Seraph trying with a last attempt, but Arrow stays alive. Mike Young executes yet another person, and the Nexus forces P1. Another victory and such a battle versus Envy. My goodness. That was a slog.
Definitely a marathon of a series there, and they are tired.
You can see Expressionist collapses in his chair. He won the series. Long faces there for Envy. Apollo. Oh my. P1 just gonna let it breathe. Yep, you can see it. 1, 2, 3. Highly energized.
Their voices are even
P1
tired.
chant.
Can't get the cheer off. Success though. And that gets them one step further away from that last place spot.
Climbing
Towards playoffs.
out inch by inch. Getting at a loss, I believe 2-7 now. Breaking the tie for the bottom with FlyQuest. And we talk about the upward trajectory for Phoenix One. It's still moving in the right direction for them, but progress is slow. Every bit counts though, as Envy gonna go back down to -4 and 5 after that loss here.
Zig did so much trading with his top lane Jace that he did 43,000 damage in this game. Happens a lot when you have these range melee kind of split pushing matchups there, but he was just dumping damage into the Renekton. On top of it, Jace doubles as this poke champion, so very high numbers there, but man.
I mean, maybe more fun. Mike Young hilariously outdamaged his 80k. True. Like 24,000 to, okay, never mind. I read the wrong number. Arrow looking
the enemy 80 carry.
Sorry, his mid laner is actually what I meant. Did outdamage Ryu by quite a lot. Clearly the superior AP champion in this game. I mean, numbers are going to get pretty ridiculous when the game goes that late, so can't really be too surprised there. But for a deeper dive on that game, we're going to hand it off to Dash and Zyrene.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
What was
both
he
of them.
saying?
I don't know what he was talking about just then, but both of them losing their minds a little bit. So were we back here in a very long back and forth game. As Kobe mentioned, it was a marathon for both teams. So hats off to them for even making it through the series. But Phoenix One comes out on top in this absurd journey of a game and ultimately gets the victory 2-1 over Envy.
Yeah, what Pacer's talking about, you can see that Mike Young had outdamaged both his mid laner and also the enemy 80 carry. So
Gotcha.
That we have visual support there for you. But yeah, this game was kind of all over the place. Mike Young was really the guy who stood out to me at the beginning, making pretty much all of the moves. But Lyra, I think Lyra tried to do what we were talking about, where he puts pressure on Mike Young. Mike Young was just ready for it.
Well, that's the and as well, we had the flipped matchup, right? Because last time Lyra had the Elise into the Lee Sin, this time we're the other way around. So again, let's take a look at this early game action from both junglers, in particular Mike Young.
Yeah, and you can see this is a counter gank to the top side where Lyra has visited multiple times already, but then the cocoon lands and he's able to pick up this one with the repel. Comes through, gets the flash as well, and that's just a big win for him. And this is after Lyra had already gone into his jungle topside and had gone for the kill, and they traded 1-for-1. And then Lyra kind of gets caught again with his hand in the cookie jar, and that flash there was honestly great because it ended up having the last shot get blocked by Pyrian.
End of the day, though, Mike Young picks up player of the game, so already in his rookie split here, he's put up some really big performances for Phoenix One and is a large contributor to their more recent wins. Of course, we can't ignore still many of the glaring issues that exist for them. And I think a lot of those lie in that mid to late game shot calling, areas where it's like, great, you have this lead. There's no reason you have this lead at 20 minutes, 25 minutes. There's no reason it should take you this long and this tumultuous journey to close out the game.
Yeah, they had an advantage on their split pusher. There's people just getting caught over and over again. And I think one of the reasons that they have Xpecial on this team is to bring that veteran knowledge, calm to the team, to keep people kind of, let's not get too crazy, but also you need a way to close these games out and find more consistency. And that's really what we're looking for here for Phoenix 1 is consistency, but also, they get those consistent early gold leads. Can they close earlier than that? Because it's becoming pretty ridiculous how long their games are going. And they put themselves in those situations where they are more likely to lose a game the longer it goes because there's way more opportunities for them to lose.
And funnily enough, guess who had the same issue last split? Envy did, right? Envy, the king of early game leads, unable to close out games once they got to that mid and late game situation. Phoenix 1 finding themselves in a very similar position. Of course, as you mentioned, it feels as though the team has brought in what they believe are the tools to eventually get to that point where they can close out games, just like any other top tier team in Xpecial and Mike Young.
Exactly. So you're seeing a lot of the signs there that they're getting to that point. And Arrow had tweeted about it where it's like 2 weeks does not really make a good team when you're bringing in new parts. So they've only played with each other for a short time. And Mike Young has only been in the scene for a very short time as well. So getting everybody integrated is the mission for Phoenix 1. They do have a tough schedule ahead of them playing Immortals and going off the Rift Rivals, though.
Yeah, exactly. This is the easier of the two games that they have this weekend. Envy now Immortals before they head to Rift Rivals and face the top 3 from Europe.
Good practice, though.
Very fantastic practice for them. Let's talk about this Immortals squad, though, because, again, when you talk about veterans who are displaying an incredible understanding of the macro game, we're looking at Xmithy. Right now, he's early talks for MVP, leading the player of the game's leaderboard at the moment. And since his joining Immortals, they've looked like one of the cleanest macro teams we've got in the NALCS. So this will be a real big challenge for Phoenix 1.
And it's crazy, too, because it's not even like he's getting player of the games off of these intense mechanical outplays, which he has.
He's had a lot of those, too.
I would say, 3 of those out of those 6 are because he's had some amazing performances. The other 3 are just him outplaying pretty much everybody macro-wise, out-rotating them, having better routes than them, setting his laners up. So Xmithy's kind of right now looking at the whole package. And it's funny because last split, the #1 person in player of the games was Immortals jungler, but it was Dardoch.
Exactly.
So Xmithy's working with the same pieces.
Something about that team.
I know, right? And now he's kind of setting them up a little more, but the results are different because they're at the top of the standings now.
What? Phoenix 1, they find their victory today. It was hard fought. They'll definitely be tired, but they get to take a sigh of relief, reset their minds for that Immortals matchup later this weekend. Now it's time for us to pull up the standings, see how the teams are stacked up. Immortals remain at the top of the heap as the team to beat, but with their win tonight, C9 has moved up to tie TSM in 3rd, while Phoenix 1 remain in 9th place following their victory. We'll be back again tomorrow with another full day of action. Our coverage kicks off on NALCS 1 with Doublelift and TSM trying to topple the first place Immortals and Cody-Sun. Then Team Dignitas take to the Battle Arena versus FlyQuest. If you're tuning in on on NALCS 2, Counterlogic Gaming starts the day in a battle against Cloud9, followed by Echo Fox looking to take down Team Liquid in the Battle Theater. We've got a couple big matchups tomorrow. We're definitely looking at some of those bot lanes. 80 carry focus tomorrow. We got some really sweet matchups. What's one maybe that you're in particular looking out for?
Well, of course, the Cody-Sun versus Doublelift one is the one that really jumps out at me. But then on the other one, Stixxay versus Sneaky. That is big because Stixxay is very confident in his abilities and he's kind of got that consistency but also playmaking aspect to him. And Sneaky's the same way, except I would give him a little bit more in consistency and a little less in playmaking, right? So it's so fun to watch these two guys go at each other because you're always in for 80 carries who are going to make it to that mid-late game, and then it's whoever finds that play to really unlock the game.
And then we can't forget their better halves in the bot lane. Afromoo and Smoothie will be really fun to watch the two of them interact again as the support meta has developed into more of those playmakers. We got the Threshes, we got the, the Tom Kenches for the picks and things like that. Even the Rakans. I'll be very excited to see how Champion Select develops between those two bot lanes and those two teams tomorrow. That's going to do it for us tonight, though. So for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more North American LCS. Good night.
The second matchup of Cloud9 and TSM so far this split. It's going to be the last time we get to see them. The first time they met up, TSM 2-0'd them. Cloud9 wants revenge.
takes down Smoothie. Now Sneaky so low, he's almost going to be going too, but Impact is dead first. Jensen and Sneaky in full retreat. The curtain call opens up, and execution is coming from downtown. Oh, flash into the auto attack, and Jensen returns the favor from game number 1. Contract's making his way down. Lane, though, buys a lot of extra damage. The snowball for first blood. Steal this one away. Normally Lee Sin's good at that, but it's so hard to do. Bjergsen going to be brought low all the way. Down, Contract's knocked away, and Bjergsen is dead. Ladies and gentlemen, TSM will fall, and Cloud9 will be the ones to take them down.
Start it all off. Special jumps in. Flash ulti goes a 3-man knockover as Mike Young going to take it free to start. Apollo gets absolutely taken down. Seraph trying to chase the kills on the backside of the map. Shutdown lands as Ryu falls. Seraph going to get the double kills. He gets also went down. Mike Young. Nexus turret number 2 is down. The Nexus is exposed. Arrow blows up Fury and Seraph trying with a last ditch effort, but Arrow stays alive. Mike Young executes yet another person, and the Nexus forces P1. Another victory and such a battle versus Envy.